All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to a Pants Plays Path of Exile. This is a update video on our 3.26 Archmage Hierophant Vortex of Projections build. I know it's been a minute since I've done an update. We discovered some new tech, and I've also been on vacation, so haven't had that chance. But I've done a lot this last week now that I've been back. And I tweaked the build just a little bit, honestly, not that much. Not really more. Didn't really invest more money into it. I just changed. If you notice, the Coiling Whisper was probably the biggest change. But I've been farming a lot between 16.5s and T17s, just kind of whatever I'm feeling. I think both of them are great. Just great maps to farm, just depending on your level of focus and what you want to grind and stuff. So, but yeah, just to kind of give a quick what the video will contain. So we're gonna have the update with the Coiling Whisper, some changes with adding Haste in, and not using Arcanist brand as well. Changing back to the cast open chests, mostly because of the Abyss strategy. It's been a very popular strategy this league, and it's been what I've been running as well. So, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Merc setup, and then I'm going to do a basically I'm going to do a feared. I will actually be the feared that will unlock everything for me. I have just been putting it off, and I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do it today. And then we'll knock out a T17 right after that as well. So, but yeah, so first up, Coiling Whisper. If you're not familiar with it, it's a very popular, basically set up. There's a couple ways of doing it that essentially gives you Soul Eater. And how we are doing it is we have our Frostblink of Wintry Blast. You could also do Lightning Warp if you want to, or some other cast style or even movement style spell, stuff like Leap Slam as well, right? Basically your travel skills. And then you use Temporal Chains linked up with Hex Touch, and then a less duration. So that's typically, like, if you've seen it in other videos, this is pretty standard stuff, right? So we've gotten ours down to 0.83 seconds for a curse duration, and basically once that curse expires, we get a stack of that delicious Soul Eater. So, but yeah, the big thing is we took away the Arcanist brand, so we don't have the curse on hits, or we have the curse on hit, but we have a different curse now. We have one that gives us Soul Eater rather than reduces res. I'll talk about that a little bit on our Merc here in just a second. So I did change up, I believe the ring is about the same. I actually did change the mana cost a little bit on this one. And then on the gear, I changed around the resist just a little bit so it'll fit better with this setup. I think I basically went back to when I was doing Death Rush instead, which is funny to me. I should have just switched this in immediately. But the wands are the same. I haven't really had the urge to really craft them, mostly because I knew I wanted to play another character. So I'm going to be investing in that. The one thing is I will be getting, like I said, a Mage Blood here very shortly. And I will be basically retuning the gear kind of for one last update video, in case you do want to also have a Mage Blood set up for this build as well. But yeah, so let's see. So the other thing I forgot to mention up here was that Haste was an added thing, because if you remember, our Frostblink of Wintry Blast was up here with Archmage. That will still all be in the guide, so don't worry about that. If you want to do the old setup, I'm just adding it to the guide, putting the guide down, and then also doing my current setup. So, but yeah, the other thing too is, remember on this guy, make sure to do the open nearby chests if you are doing the Abyss strategy. I think that is about it for the build, really. But one thing I haven't talked about at all this league was our mercs. So this is my current merc. He is a Storming Zealot, which is basically the staff users who are strength in. You can do this on Cadet as well. It's a very popular one too. Instead, they'll use I think it's Wand and Shield, if I remember. I still haven't gotten one. I haven't got lucky with one that actually has auras yet, which is unfortunate. at least since I've been back. So I probably had like 10 of them on League Start, but I just didn't think about it at the time. So, but the big thing we're doing here is, of course, Doriani's prototype. We are a lightning build, so this is just, it is the best setup. The one thing I will say is you can go kind of budgety. I just picked these up for, I think, 100 chaos. You can spend multiple divine on really nice minus lightning res and minus all res, and then also adding in some kind of one of the other ones that gives you like plus fire resistance or cold resistance, just to neg out that all res. So we use a toe, and Immortal Flesh as well is a great, is what I didn't think about until I was checking out some other people's builds, but it also gives you minus all res and gives you a great amount of regen sustain. So I should have remembered that from playing Righteous Fire, but I just did not. And then I am using Azuri's Rule. For some reason, I really feel like this this particular Merc likes killing himself on reflect damage. So this is why I'm using a rule. Plus, it's like a staff that he can actually use, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, we're just gonna stick that on there. And then for the other gear, I basically just crafted him some kind of armor and energy shield stuff. These two I went ahead and bought. I should have probably bought an armor one as well, but I had some Warlock gloves laying around, so I was just like, yeah, I'll just craft some up. And really all you're focused on here is res. Chaos res is a big thing. If you notice, I did grab Amethyst rings. We are fine now, stat-wise. We have plenty of chaos res. Probably enough where I can switch in the helmet to like a unique as well for more survivability. But yeah, like I said, just making sure your cold fire res is high, chaos res is high, and trying to get as much armor as possible. On this particular one, I think the kineticist might be a little bit different, but I will also link this guy in the description below as well, in case anybody needs more help with that. Yeah, I'll probably just put in the uniques. I guess I could put in these rings as well. That wouldn't be that hard. So anyway, so that's our Merc, and then let's get feared, I guess. I'm just gonna run this blue, just so I don't lose. I'd prefer not to, but you never know. We'll see what happens. All right, I think we got everything. Cool. Let's see what we get. Got Shaper. Yeah, we'll be fine. Oh, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm a little like, wee. Alright, well, Shaper. Alright, so it's gonna be a Zuri and what's the other one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is honestly, this is kind of cake. Like, the first time I did it, I think I only had like 3 million. So I could have probably ran it higher. Like I said, I just wanted to finish it, so. Oh, we get a double synth ring, so that's nice. Cool. And then we'll just immediately put it in our last little mod modifier. Yay. Yeah, I'll just show it over real quick. So not that one. So Atlas passive wise, if you're familiar with any of Fubgun stuff that he's been putting out, I know other people have been running this build or setup as well, but high explicits is very important. I personally actually like running the map mod still. I'm thinking about making another build talking about kind of essentially pairing different Atlas strategies together. One for like when you're running it on this device, and then one when you're running it with Aegon, if you happen to get that. Or if you just need to switch up some builds, like switch up some Atlas strategies, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump and do that T17 real quick, and we'll do a little showcase of that. But yeah, feared easy. It was a joke. Yeah, because I think I was running it at like 3 million, and I almost beat it, but I didn't quite beat it, unfortunately. So, what do I need to do? Yeah, need to get my other favorite slot. So we'll do that there. But yeah, so one of the things too is I have City Square. So City Square has got Basilica on there. So that's basically been the two maps that I've been trying to collect and also sell. I don't really want to do the Wildwood, so... Yeah, I'll talk about Scarabs a little bit as well. So typically for me, when I do T17s, I like to just run pretty standard Abyss stuff. I feel like it's not quite there when you're doing like Risk. You can still die pretty easily with like if you're running Risks, or you know, get an unfortunate setup where that you just can't run. Now T17s, I don't really like running them like that, but T16.5s, I don't mind running the Risk Scarabs as much. So if you want to do like 2 Risks, 2 Abyss Scarabs, and then the one that makes you lead to Abyss Depths rather than or I'm sorry, Spires if they don't go to Abysses. Basically, it's like I said, it's pretty standard Abyss setup. The other thing too is because I get the maps, I also don't mind selling maps. If that's something that you do not like doing, like bulk selling, I typically sell 50 maps for 1 div. Then yeah, don't worry about it. Like just do a more currency Scarab setup. It's just gonna be easier for you. So. Oh, actually might be my first Vermilion ring of like just raw drop. They've been very rare today. Oh, should have moved. Like I said, you can still die. The build is, it's not like, it's squishy in the way of like taking big physical hits is probably the biggest thing, or explosions. Once you get Mage Blood though, it will, any of your spells will just not hurt as much. So you'll feel very evasive tanky, and you'll feel very like spell tanky, which is good.
God turns his face.
Bad again. Unfortunate. But yeah, so the thing I wanted to show off too was like when you're stacking up your Soul Eater, you blink into like a group of them, and then you just kind of wait that 0.86 seconds, and then it'll go off. So. But yeah, like you can notice once you get the ramped Soul Eater stuff, you're just blinking around really fast, which is great. So. Yeah, I'm not going to collect like too much. I'm hoping for a Divine Orb. It's been about 1 Divine per map-ish. Just a raw drop, and then usually I'll get a couple Baldos or like one of the Scarab drops. Alright, just go do Lycia real quick here. Hopefully she's not too juiced. Seems okay.
You will know pain. I will bathe this world in blood.
And Bedot. Oh, Bedot.
Impressive, but futile. You will know pain.
Ooh.
Be gone. Delaying the inevitable.
And, well, we didn't get anything interesting, so it's fine. Okay, so that was Lycia. Again, not too tough, really. I think one thing that also helps is if you add the Delirium, it actually kind of makes the T17 bosses easier. Now, that sounds weird, but it makes them physically take less damage from the Delirium stuff. However, their moveset gets affected where they will do Delirium moves, which have a longer cast time, essentially. So, aww. Well, hopefully we'll get another one. So that was our potential divine drop there. Nice thing always to use 17s, you get a bunch of bases too, so. Where are we going, Abyss? Where are we going? Yeah, I've been doing basically anything that's around an Alp on my my filter, so you can of course do more or less depending on where you're at farming wise. I don't mind picking up currency that much. Typically it's whenever I see a ton of like rarity items that I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see all that, so. Just like, where are the dudes? Oh, yeah. Something's murdering us. I don't like it. Alright, so we're basically full right now. Is there anything a chunk? Oh yeah. Oh, they're actually pretty good. I was like, that's from the Feared though, so. I was like, I'll chunk something if a divine orb drops. Wink, wink.
Then you're a greater fool and make your choice.
Alright.
Leave then. You'll learn the hard your end. Come.
Nah, it's fine. I won't do it. I'll just come back in and grab him, so. Oh my god, really? Oh, well, we'll die anyway, actually.
Unanswered.
I misclicked, so. Alright. Just do that. Yeah, typically when I do, with this loot filter setup, it's usually about two inventories full is what I shoot for. If you're doing more than that, then it's probably time to trim it down a little bit, or just don't pick up all the stuff. Go. Got our juice back. Alright, well, we got unlucky and got the double Exalted Orb drop on this one, so... That clearly means the next one's gonna have 3 Divines, right? Right? But yeah, like I said, blinking is pretty nice. The one thing too is, like, if you're still early in the build, you do want to be careful about peeking directly into enemies, so it might be a little bit more difficult to incorporate the Coiling Whisper stuff in there. So that should be about it. Cool. Alright, so we got all that done. Throw that in. Yeah, nothing like particularly notable from that map, unfortunately. It happens though. Yeah, I do still use stuff with the town, so, but last thing I wanted to show was the PoB real quick. So if you're trying to basically figure out ways to figure out what your DPS is based on kind of what your merc is doing, you can still write stuff into your custom modifiers. I don't know if you need to do the Soul Eater, but I also just put here 45, and if you notice, it does influence your DPS based on how many stats you have. So if you don't have any, it does cut it down by half the DPS, just as a heads up. So if you're not using that tech to generate the soul stacks, you're doing a lot of damage to you. And the other thing too is over here, you can just change the lightning res to it. I put -90 because that's roughly what the Dorianis will do. This can go like much higher. So like if you do say -200, you're looking at 31 million DPS. So the build definitely has a lot of potential for some scaling in ways that I was not expecting this league, specifically with the Merc. But yeah. So like I said, I'm just gonna leave these in the comments above or below, and as like a way to kind of give you an idea of how much DPS you're doing ish. You know, obviously PoB is a little bit different than playing the build, but I definitely like this new setup. I wasn't sure if I would or not. I think the Coiling Whispers cast speed is just another great addition to this setup. And yeah, if you want to try out a man-to-man, please feel free to check out the whole guide. I have quite detailed stuff in there. And if you're still playing it and wanted some more tips, I hope this video helps it out. And of course, do all those great social media things, subscribe, like, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!